of my motorhome, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to walk around here to see if this works out any better. Now I've got to apologize, I've just been on a live chat which only just finished on my other channel, which went on for some time, so I apologize if I sound a bit tired after that. Today I'm going to talk about how to actually do van life, with how to finance van life. Is there any way of actually financing it? And well, anyway, that's going to be the plan. I see I've got a light up there. I'm trying to get rid of the light which is behind me. I know if I move my camera there. Oh, that's okay, isn't it? That's not too bad. That looks quite good. So you can see the building behind me. You can see the canal. You can see, oh, it's a river, in fact. You can see the ships going past when they go past, and that will be relatively interesting. Now, the thing is this, is that people often say, okay, it's very good living in a van, but how are you going to actually pay for it? Because at the end of the day, you've still got to eat. And there is this thing about chasing your dreams, but what about how can you actually physically make the dreams come true? And that's what I'm going to try and actually to talk about. Anyway, if other people got other ideas, then please do say. I can say about people I have met, and I'm going to start off with the lady I know in Germany, and her father worked in he was sort of typically German, was thinking, oh, you've got to go to work, you've got to work until you get to retirement age, and when you retire you'll enjoy yourself and you'll have some money, you'll have a pension. And so he worked until I think he was 70 when he retired, and might have been 67, I can't know what she told me, but 70, something like that. But then he got cancer and he died within 6 months, so he didn't even have anything, any enjoyment period. But anyway, so she also followed in his footsteps. She went to work in the same plant. It was a car manufacturer, Opel, and she told me this, is that her father said to her the following, that do what you want to do. She wanted to become a photographer. She thought that she could, and so she gave up a job, which was obviously quite well paying in the engineering sector, and she became a photographer. And so she effectively sacrificed the potential there of the good job and all the rest of it to do this. And now the question is this: how can we actually make money in order to be able to live and to travel around? So people that say this to me all the time, so, oh, I'm great doing this, that and the other. And I say, yeah, you know, I've got to work the same. I mean, it's true that I can change my location. I can have a fantastic view. I've got my, it looks so fantastic now in the dark, but it's a fantastic view I've got here, and I've been one or two other places with fantastic views as well. But effectively, I'm sitting behind a computer screen at the other end of where I was when I started off speaking and doing this, and then I've got to be actually earning somehow. But one thing we've learned from COVID is this: is that you when you've you can work, distance working is possible. And so that's the one thing I'm going to really strongly suggest, that people suggest distance working. Now, of course, I appreciate if you're a miner, for example, you can't take a coal mine or whatever it is you're mining with you when you go somewhere. If you work in a factory, you can't take the factory with you. This effectively only applies to people who work in offices or have similar office type jobs. In my work experience, technology has now made it possible. What I was doing before, I worked in the publishing industry, I worked in real estate as well, and had it been possible to do e-magazines, for example, 25 years ago, then that's what I would have been doing. I would just be doing everything online, and instead of actually doing all the work which you had to do to actually produce a publication, which is physical and had to be done in an office. We've now progressed into doing things like that. So the first thing is this, is to consider, can you do something which is distance working? I remember that one of the people who worked for me, he was a graphic artist, and he worked from home, and he said, I want to be with my kids, I want to see the kids growing up. I mean, I don't know how he managed to do it with them. Kids are running around all the time, but that is to be understandable. So if you can do anything which is distance working, then you're very much on the track to actually paying for your dream. Now, the next thing is, and this is a really recent occurrence, is fast internet. Because if you think about, okay, we had internet 20 years ago, which was relatively easy to come by. I mean, internet, as far in my experience, first year of internet was in 1996, was the first time I had access to it. But if you have access, the internet now, that its prices, it's getting cheaper and cheaper, and it's getting faster and faster. So I'm sitting here in this motorhome of mine, despite the fact there's huge amounts of people actually not so far from where I am, much more than would normally be here, all using the service, but you can actually still see me. And this is a service which is relatively cheap. There's a ship coming by. So that is something which is really, really good. Next thing is this, and this is something I would like to report on, is internet costs in various countries. Thanks to the European Union, the internet roaming costs have been effectively capped. Now, in the United Kingdom, there's still those which you can actually buy, which would give you access to EU roaming. I now have on my service, I think it's 7.5 gigabytes or something like that a month. Admittedly, I know I don't put videos up when, for example, I'm in Germany, but I think I might start doing that now. Actually, I do. So I mean, I know at the trade fairs I do lives and things, but that's from trade fairs. Right. Next thing you have to think about is this: there are people who go from campsite to campsite and be doing warden's work and this type of thing. I was talking to somebody who'd been working somewhere for 12 years or something like that. Now, to be a warden, I think you've got to be really grumpy and unpolite. No, that's just a little joke. Some places you go to, the wardens are really nice, and others they're not so nice. But there are places you can go to, particularly, for example, if you go to Southern Europe, and they are looking for people quite constantly. I know in the United Kingdom and the camping, what's it called, the CC, Camping and Caravanning Club, yeah, that's it, Camping Caravanning Club or whatever it's called. They're constantly looking there. And Jimmy says, look, I'm a warden, we are lovely. Yeah, there you go. So this is something which lots of people do. And I've also noticed in the United States as well, people doing this type of thing. There's another thing, and this is a bit more, how about agricultural work? I mean, I know, appreciate that, okay, most people watching this are my age or thereabouts, and doing physical agricultural work is probably not the thing. What's that light doing up there? It's a ship or something. And you know what, I think I'll turn this around, trying to get outside the bright light. You know what, I'm gonna go back round the other side and see what this does, and if this makes it any better. There could be a problem here with the boats, because sometimes you get boat jams, so traffic jams with boats outside, and they're small, the boats. I mean, not huge big ones, but well, no, some of them about 50 meters long, so relatively large. Out the back, just about, what, 300 or 400 meters. I'll do a live from outside. 300 or 400 meters. I mean, we've got the grain terminal, so you've got these big, enormous containers, coming in to pick up the grain. Anyway, right. So agricultural work. There's somebody who was on a site next to me, or a wild park anyway, next to me, in Sicily, and he used to do this. He used to go from one place to the other, and he had some kind of agreement with them whereby he'd get 50% of the whatever it was that he did, and he actually kept it. So, but I mean, there are still people doing this type of thing. Now, I do appreciate it's physical and it's tough and it's hard. It's possibly not what you want to do, but then again, that is an option. That's an option I've seen for many people. And there's yet another option, and this is something which I've used. I was in Sicily 10 years ago, and there was somebody there. There was a couple, and they had a big Morello or something. And well, probably wasn't a Morello 10 years ago, but it was something big, Concord or something. And he would have to be flying backwards and forwards from the Netherlands, so he'd do his work, whatever he was doing there. Maybe it was a coal mine or something, but no, it's just a little joke. And he'd be flying backwards and forwards, and she would just stay there. Now, for example, in my own case is that my former partner, that I would drive the van somewhere, and then she'd come and join me. She'd take the plane. I mean, planes are relatively cheap, and so that is another option use. You can still go back to doing your old job and coming backwards and forwards like that. So how about that? Here's another option I've got here. I don't know anyone would do this, just the sort of thing that occurs to me. So how about somebody knows how to fix motorhomes, and then they would be traveling around in their motorhome offering the service? Would they find clients? I don't know, but maybe they would. Okay, I'll just have a look at some of the questions here. And so hello Annie, and Nathaniel says good to see you from Malta. I was in Malta in April, and I did see quite a lot of vehicles there. So one or two lovely places to park your vehicle. Mind you, getting a vehicle there would be pretty expensive. But in Gozo, so there's 3 islands in Malta. So the main island's like main island's like one big city, if you like, not much agricultural land. But on the second island's quite, it's smallish, it's sort of a big rock really. But the third one, Gozo, it's very rural, and there's some fantastic natural beauty. Anyway, good with that. So it's good to have a pension, says Jimmy. Hello, ciao, TC. Yeah, okay, Jimmy, just like the technology is infuriating. It doesn't work properly, needs upgrading, or someone wants to send you stuff you don't need. Yeah, I've had this all the time. Internet not working, things like this. This does happen. I mean, I do absolutely appreciate this. I've got this 5G now. It broke down on me the other night when I was doing a live, and but now I've understood why. It's because there's so many tourists here, such as me, using up all the 5G. So yeah, there is problems with technology, but the thing is this: it's the technology is more likely to go wrong if you're in a van. That is absolutely certain. Yes, 100%. But it's less likely to. It does allow. Sorry. So it's less likely to go wrong at home or in the office. But it does go wrong in the office as well. But if you're in the office, then you're not traveling on your van, so maybe it's best just to travel around in your van. That's how I see it anyway. So Jimmy says he's a warden, and they're lovely. Jimmy also mentioned I need Ramis blinds. I have Ramis blinds. I like to sit there so that people can see what's going on outside. So this was, I thought, I'm using the facilities that this van has as an integrated van, so you can see what's going on around me. Something I really like to do. Anyway, and Jimmy says his dad was a coal miner. Well, actually, you know what? If I'd been born 100 years earlier, I'd possibly have ended up down a mine as well. Fortunately, I wasn't. Although my father worked in steel works, not in that, right. And oh, Nathaniel saw my Ryanair flight. Yes, I did a Ryanair flight from I forgot about that. The Ryanair flight from Malta. I still haven't put my videos together from Malta, but then again, there's plenty of stuff I haven't put together from 4 or 5 years ago. So anyway, good. So I hope I've given 1 or 2 ideas. I probably haven't, but the thing at the end of the day, there's no easy answer to this one. But other than to say, yeah, there are companies which want people to work remotely. That way, if you work remotely, you're not taking up their office space, and you're not taking that. And office space is a major cost for most businesses, office company. So if you find a job that allows you to do that, then that's great. That's what I suggest that you look for. Okay, thanks very much here for being with me. Oh really? So Jimmy says there was a need to use the blinds because somebody appeared to be urinating outside. I don't think somebody would do it here because there's actually a public toilet 50 meters from where I am. Mind you, you have to pay to use it. But anyway, if somebody was doing it, well, that made it an interesting video. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being here today, and all the best from me in Poland. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about motorhome prices in 2024, some more economics. Thank you. Bye for now. Thank you.